Hello, and welcome to a new world given to us by a man that has almost been completely forgotten in human history. In the early 1800s, a man by the name of Michael Faraday discovered what is known as electromagnetic induction. The way this is described is when a permanent magnet comes into a copper coil or a conductor of electricity. The metal, in response to the presence of the magnet's motion, will produce an electromagnetic force of its own and will cause a constant electric current. This is known as electromagnetic induction. And he built a simple setup that looks like this, to where when he brought a magnet into a copper coil, the, the copper coil would then induce a current in the direction of travel of the magnet that would cause the needle of a voltmeter to tip in one direction during the brief moment of his entrance and exit of the coil, which would produce a current in the opposite direction. With this simple understanding, he built an apparatus like this that became the first electric generator. By making coils onto a fan blade, he was able to rotate them and produce a steady electrical current for the first time in human history. Now, shortly after this discovery was discovered in the 1800s, a man by the name of Nikola Tesla, while walking in a park with his friend, discovered that he could make an alternating current motor that would be the solution to the north and south permanent pole problem of trying to make a motor with magnets. He, in his mind, learned or discovered and drew out in the ground with a stick that if he alternated the current between two conducting metals such as copper, he could make a rotationary permanent magnet setup turn in response to alternating the current, or making the current flow into different locations, or just alternating it between the two locations would change the polarity, and that would make the rotation of the motor. And this was all discovered in the 1800s by Nikola Tesla. One of the things that has been forgotten, or perhaps not been discovered until the time of Nikola Tesla, and has been perhaps suppressed in a manner to where it has not been rediscovered, was the gyroscope permanent magnet generator. By having a permanent set of two different coils illustrated by 1s and 2s, you would have two different sets of coils. One would be connected to the direct current battery, but would deliver the current in a controlled alternating current control system. The electric current would cause the permanent magnets in a gyroscope type ring manner would make the magnets start to move, because they would then want to go towards the positive charge in the copper coils. So that would make the permanent magnets go into the direction of travel of the coils, as long as you alternated the currents and controlled the current with a control apparatus setup. This is what Nikola Tesla realized, and he realized if he alternated the current and then turned the current off, the centrifugal forces of the gyroscope of the permanent ring magnet itself would then keep spinning, and it would duplicate the same power as long as it stayed at a certain velocity, but over a certain amount of time the duplication would eventually go down. The duplication of power would only duplicate for a certain amount of time per unit of time after the initial jolt was initiated. So if you have a gyroscope of permanent magnets and give the jolt of energy required to accelerate it, you can then constantly keep reproducing energy with only pushing a little bit of energy needed to keep the gyroscope in motion, like pushing a child on a swing. This is the part of Nikola Tesla's dream that was either hidden or has been suppressed from other forces at work. The control system would look something like this, where you would have the amount of volts that you wish to apply, an on-off switch for the current, an auto button for the alternating current to maintain at a certain length of time, and you can control that length of time with a dial like this. So, if this was Nikola Tesla's way of receiving free power, how come nobody has ever heard of it, or nobody even knows who Nikola Tesla was, or even who came up with all these inventions that became the dominant way of the modern world? Is it all perhaps too good to be true? Well, I myself do not have enough money to build this gyroscope permanent magnet generator. So if you think it's too good to be true, then build a gyroscope permanent magnet generator with coils that you can control the alternating current, and then you'll see for yourself if you can duplicate power over units of time and just continue to jolt it like a child on a swing. We want to give special thanks to Nikola Tesla for everything he gave us, for all his time and dedication to his experiments, and most of all, for the neglect that was given to him and his work for all the years that he was alive. The future of Nikola Tesla will always be his.